We were watching the podcast last night, episode the ILM documentary, and it was like pretty good.
I've seen a bunch of the footage on like the Blu-ray release they did for, I think it was like 2012 or something like that, when they released, like it was a big, at the time there were still the only 6 movies, so it was like the Skywalker Saga Blu-ray set bundled into one, and they had like a whole slew of special features, and a lot of that footage is included on it. So I had only seen that part and not the ILM bundle that they put out on Disney Plus. I haven't seen that.
Yeah, like a lot. I didn't even know they had that Skywalker, but like a lot of those like behind the scenes footage.
Yeah.
It's just crazy how much detail and depth and like love for the stuff they put into it.
Yeah.
Like it's not even like just remember like that kid, the guy brought his son in and he was like doing the pod racing.
Yeah, it was like a demo pilot.
It was like a demo pilot,
Yeah.
and it was just like stuff like that is just.
I think it's a mix of having really impressive talent who also have a passion for the source material. Because you can hire like 10, 20 people who you give a basic understanding of the source material.
Yeah.
They'll probably spit out something good because they're talented people, but I feel like these guys had an actual passion for the development and the passion behind it and the ideas behind it.
Yeah, like they like all of those guys who were at ILM in the late 70s, they were like CEOs now.
Yeah.
Because they joined ILM when they were like 25 to 35 in the 70s, came up 20 years later, they're in their 50s, 60s, 70s, and they like love Star Wars, they love science fiction, they love claymation, they love animation, and like it just shows how great it was. Because the Phantom Menace had the most models of all Star Wars, right?
Yeah. It was in all 6 of them, the first movies combined, it had more than any of them.
Yeah, just that one movie had it, and it was just nice to see how much like love and care they put into it.
And I think it was, I don't know what section to say it is. Basically what I'm saying is when I was first watching them, whether as like a kid, because I was really young when I first saw them, and then kind of growing up as more watches that I would have on them, I would say, oh, that looks CG. But then most of the stuff that I said that looks CG is physical model. Like I thought the pod racing scene, I thought that was top to bottom CGI. Up until seeing like behind the scenes. You're watching those guys pull models, which are like not simple like 132 inch or whatever. It's not like hand models where they're just squishing together. It takes like 6 people to reel the model, one half of it connected to the other side. So they can drop the rig into it.
It's part of a set.
Yeah.
Like it's part of a whole set,
Yeah.
which is something like you just don't see. I mean, obviously you don't see now because now everything is CGI, and it's like there's nothing wrong with that. But like when you saw like the Bunta Eve Classic, every single like the stadium was a model.
Yeah.
It was like a model that was like 15 feet high by 30 feet wide.
Yeah.
It was massive. They had like whole teams working on it, which is something like that I like to see in movies. And I think Skeleton Crew did that too. There was I forget who the guy was in Skeleton Crew, but he was a guy who worked at ILM in like the 70s on the original Star Wars, and it was like one of the episodes in Skeleton Crew was like a claymation crab on this planet, and it was claymation stop motion, and it was really good. I think Doug Chiang worked on it too. And it was just like watching it was like wow, like you can tell, like I don't know if you guys have seen Skeleton Crew. I think it's one of the best Disney Star Wars releases, if not the best. That's my opinion. But it was just so good to watch, like how it still carries over 50 years ago, like 50, 60 years ago, still carries over, and it's still like nice to see.
Is it just so when you say in Skeleton Crew, because at the time of filming this I haven't seen Skeleton Crew yet, so I'm not 100% sure what specific modeling CGI specific things that it is, would you say it's still the same essence or the same feeling of original movies, prequel movies?
Yeah, like when I was watching Skeleton Crew, I felt that it was like an actual throwback to sort of George Lucas Star Wars. And I'm not going to debate like if Disney's good or bad, like that's not what we're here to do.
Yeah.
But like when I was watching Skeleton Crew, it really felt like there was this sense of wonder and jovialness and like lightheartedness that was throwing back to the original Star Wars, the original trilogy. Felt like it was like this new world that you were venturing into with the kids. Jude Law's character was this like roguish, lovable smuggler who you really like begin to like, and then like he sort of grows up. He sort of looks like meshes well with the kids in the show, and that was always something nice to see. But yeah, like I recommend that like you watch it when you get the time. I recommend it if you're out there and you're like, oh, I don't really like Disney, like, you know what, like just watch it because it's good, right? And something that's good is just going to be good regardless of who it's made by. And this was something that I really did like, something that I felt was like a fun watch. I've watched it a few times. I have a few of the Black series. I have Jod and I have KB and I have Brutus, and they're good characters that I like. You know, like I know we finished Andor when it came out. That was something nice. And I mean I did like Andor.
Yeah.
But like what we were saying before, it was kind of slow at the beginning, kind of slow, but the ending of Andor was really good. I liked Andor, the ending. Although people will say it was sort of they got the plans to the Death Star, but I think a lot of the true EU fans will say, well, Kyle Katarn got the plans to the Death Star.
Yeah.
Kyle Katarn on the Moldy Crow. First level of Dark Forces, you steal the Death Star plans, and then obviously the second Death Star plans are in Shadows of the Empire, which Bobby hasn't read yet. Not trying to put him down, but we still got a lot of catching up to do on some Star Wars. But that's something that was like fun to do, and like reading about how the plans and how both Death Star plans came about and were stolen was interesting. Especially the second Death Star plans in Shadows of the Empire. It's like Prince Xizor's playing Sidious and Vader off of each other, and it just gets good.
Yeah. So
like, it's a good read. The book. It's also a great video game if you haven't played. I like the video game. There are some hard levels in it that I had to skip because like the swoop racing level was just crazy. It was a miserable level to do.
It's very mid-90s difficulty.
It's like I couldn't even. I was like, one of the cheat codes was like, it wasn't a cheat code. It was more of like a glitch. It's like the faster you go, right? The faster the way it was programmed was like the faster you go, the faster your enemies are going to go.
Yeah.
So if you turned around and you went really slow when we're backing up, the enemies would go really slow. So it was like as soon as the mission would start, I'd turn around, put it in reverse, go like a mile an hour, and then all the enemies would just be like this.
So they'd be keeping toe with you.
They'd be keeping toe, and I'd hit them a few times and their swoop bike would blow up. But eventually, like, they would just get out of that and go fast, and it was like you couldn't even navigate because it was in Mos Eisley, and it was like it was just so fast to do that eventually I just skipped the level. I was like, you know what, like we're just not doing this. I probably tried for like 2 hours, and that was like a miserable experience. But I mean, you did play as Dash Rendar, who was voiced by John Saigon. John Saigon, if you don't know, voiced Mandalore and KOTOR.
Oh yeah.
So it was like so John Saigon voiced Dash Rendar, and he voiced Mandalore, the Ultimate, which was like something I don't know, I didn't even know of. And he was in Frasier too, one of my favorite shows, maybe my favorite show of all time, Frasier. Frasier fights him in Cafe Nervosa, and he teaches an etiquette lesson and tosses him out, which is kind of a funny thing. And all the comments are like, "This is you shouldn't have messed with the Mandalorian." It was like it was funny seeing that.
Does he still have Candor sort of voice in Frasier?
Oh yeah, you could tell it. You like 100% like that's Candor.
Yeah.
Like that, like bassy, baritone-y, but like
gravelly
kind of like smug voice, and you just like that's Mandalore. It's such.
I feel like every time when I hear, I know Cartho Nassi's voice actor, but they recently passed away too. I think he was kind of in a whole bunch of shows, and every time his voice would pop up, it's an iconic voice. It's hard not to kind of be like
that's Cartho Nassi.
Yeah. And I mean, I'm sure like if you've heard some of his other work and you jump into KOTOR and you're like, oh, that's XYZ's whatever voice.
Yeah.
So it's hard to say, but it is an iconic sort of voice. Just from the amount of times I've played KOTOR, there's a lot of I think they nailed that aspect of voice acting, where you can deliver a performance, I find, and then you can deliver sort of very iconic stuff that sticks in your head. That's the character. If you can nail the character right, then like think of like the Sam Raimi Spider-Man movies, like J. Jonah Jameson.
Yeah, you just know that.
Everyone, when you say J. Jonah Jameson, you think of J.K. Simmons.
J.K. Simmons. Same as in Baldur's Gate 3. J.K. Simmons is a villain in Baldur's Gate 3.
Yeah.
And like the second he speaks, you're like, why is J.K. Simmons in this? And he does an amazing job. He does a crazy good job. But it's like, it's always funny when you're like watching a show and like Cartho Nassi's voice actor, who I don't know his name, will just be like a cop or something.
Yeah,
like it'll just be some like background guy.
Throw away for 10 seconds.
Yeah, he's got 2 lines and you're like, it's Cartho Nassi. Yeah. You're messing with a hero of the Republic or something. And it's like, it's so funny to see. And it's like, it's good to see voice actors get film acting, because they're often underrated.
I also think there's a way of kind of stamping their name on a character like J.K. Simmons with J. Jonah Jameson, where I don't know if it's different generation, where some roles, some people think it's different, but like for me, he basically is J. Jonah Jameson. And in the same way, when I'm like, if you were introduced to Star Wars prequels, you're gonna think of Obi-Wan as Alec Guinness. For me, it's the opposite. I don't.
Oh, really?
I think when I think of Obi-Wan, I think of Ewan McGregor too. Like, I think he nailed that character. Even going into Alec Guinness's role.
He studied Alec Guinness.
Yeah.
He was like, he would like watch how Alec Guinness just talked.
And the way
and Obi-Wan talked.
In the start and maybe the second movie, like the first and second movie, he would kind of, you'd see a little bit of fan service nods to the way he would be. But just the way, in the third movie especially, there was a blend of his own interpretation in Phantom Menace: Attack of the Clones and in Revenge of the Sith. He kind of blended those with Alec Guinness's portrayal.
Oh yeah.
So it was this really gradient area where it's just an amazing performance, in my opinion. Where I remember all the reviews that were saying, even if there were negative reviews about them, they'd say, "Oh, Ewan McGregor's fantastic."
Yeah. Well, they didn't know how good the prequels were.
Yeah.
Like a lot of those people who were reviewing it grew up on the originals. Yeah. And like I guess they just didn't. It was like 20 years later, they didn't see how it changed and how much better it was and how nice it was, or just like George's vision for Star Wars, right? Because I guess they just wanted like that feel of the original.
Yeah.
And after you watch it, you do get that feel.
Yeah.
Like it's hard to adapt to. Like if you grew up on the originals and you see the prequels, you're like, it's kind of hard to jump into. But like, I guess we were sort of like, I guess we were like introduced to both at the same time.
It was a weird thing where because I think they were gearing up the media machine for the Phantom Menace. So I mean, years following up, or
because we were like 5, 6, 7 years old.
Yeah, like mid-90s born here. So it's like that perfect time where. I mean, my earliest memories of Star Wars are prequels, their original trilogy introduced by Power of the Force.
Yeah, the Power of the Force.
Power of the Force toy lines, and I think it was just a mass multimedia.
Yeah, there was a lot coming out because it was like Power of the Force line 1, Power of the Force line 2. You should put it in a blanket. Cut it open like throw that on. Power of the Force line 1, 2, and then obviously the Phantom Menace toys with the comlinks, which were just so good, so good. What else was there? There was just other things too, like so much games coming out at the time, like Pod Racer, Starfighter, Dark Forces 1, Dark Forces 2. I was a little too young for those. Those were like kids that were like 12 years old when I was like 2. Obviously Jedi Academy came out. Jedi Academy, Jedi Outcast. Obviously Knights of the Old Republic. The Clone Wars, like Commando, Star Wars Galaxies. Just like 1995 to like 2005 was just like the best era for Star Wars games, in my opinion. There were some games after that came out, like the RTS game, I forget it. Empire at War came out like 2006. Clone Wars 2.
Battlefronts. You played on Battlefront.
Yeah, Battlefront came out in 2005.
Both Battlefronts, I think. Battlefront 1 came out pre-Revenge of the Sith, so I'm thinking 2004.
Yeah.
Battlefront 2, I know Battlefront 2's big marketing hype was that there was a lot of Revenge of the Sith film in it.
It was basically like a tie-in.
It was
Because you would do Revenge of the Sith missions.
Yeah.
You know, that was something.
That was such a cool story plot. Like I don't know how how concerned they were about keeping it canon or making sure it fit into canon.
Yeah.
But for a piece of like video game story technology, I thought it was such a cool perspective and cool interpretation of just the final kind of moments of Revenge of the Sith. Because I know that the Order 66, how it worked, was different in that game than how it was in, I guess, the rest of the universe.
Yeah.
But like the kind of the way I was talking about it earlier with how the amping up to the Phantom Menace release, they kind of foresaw that, I want to say early 90s, so they would start to prepare everything.
Yeah.
So like my first memories of it were those re-releases of kind of the original trilogy.
Yes.
The original trilogy toys like Power of the Force lines, like everything with that. That's how I was introduced to Star Wars. It was original trilogy first. Like I had a good few years of the only Star Wars I knew was original trilogy. And expanded universe on that.
Like I know George, I think, started wanting to write a new film in like '94.
Yeah.
Or '93. But like even during that too, they released like Shadows of the Empire, the multimedia project released in '96, right? Shadows of the Empire had like a soundtrack by I believe it was the Scottish Royal Orchestra, a video game, Dark Horse comics, action figures, and a book. It was basically its own like movie, just didn't have a movie, right? Because they knew, okay, 3 years from now we're going to be releasing Phantom Menace, but at the same time, all the guys like Mark Hamill and Harrison Ford, and we're all, you know, in their 40s, I would say. Or early 40s to like 50s, so they like, and Shadows of the Empire took place between Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi. They had to, you know, rescue Han Solo and take down Prince Xizor, and you know, Boba Fett was doing his thing in the Dark Horse comics, and it was so cool. But I didn't really get into that till like I was in my 20s.
Yeah, I didn't have any good access to it.
Yeah, I didn't really know. Yeah. Like I would read like Wikipedia. We would read Wikipedia.
That was my big thing. When I discovered the internet, I want to say like 2002, 2003, and around that time, like it was pretty much, I was online just to look up Star Wars related stuff, and that was the extent of it. Like you look up, like they had video game walkthroughs. I think GameFAQs in its infancy was big at that time, but the only other time I would go on the internet was just to look up Star Wars stuff.
Yeah.
So it started with like the official Star Wars website, which like a relic of a forgotten internet era.
I don't even remember what it looked like.
It's so hard to explain because it's something you just can't see. Like I can't even remember it too well at this point, but it was just so different because it was such a new medium, I think, and they weren't expecting the way that it's viewed now, where it's like everything content-wise is being delivered via the internet. So it's created, not necessarily created, but definitely adapted and marketed with the internet pretty much solely in mind. Whereas back then it was like, it felt so niche, and most people who were gonna find out about Star Wars stuff is gonna be like,
it's gonna be from like KFC.
Yeah, we get a lot of tie-ins like that. So with the Star Wars website, I feel like there was such a niche to it. Like they would put a whole bunch of behind the scenes content of like Phantom Menace, Attack of the Clones. I remember I wasn't there to see it, and I kind of regret not. But I remember there were murmurs. I forget which movie it was. I feel like it was Attack of the Clones. But they would have like a live stream camera broadcasting from one of the sets, I think.
Goodness.
Either that or like photos. I have a feeling it was something live stream or photo.
Wow,
but
I don't remember that at all.
Yeah, but that was for me. That was the sole existence of the internet, was a Star Wars machine. And then once I found out about Wikipedia, like that was
Wikipedia
expanded
was
so
endless.
much. Because I had no clue about a lot of the expanded universe prior to that. So when I go on Wikipedia and I'm like poking around, you click on hyperlinks like, oh, Luke Skywalker, you click on that, and then all of a sudden he has this whole biography of 19 BBY, like New Hope,
Yeah.
like it's kind of stuff like that, and then all of a sudden there's this whole shock, like a block of text explaining a story that I have no clue about.
Yeah, you see
After-
Thrawn.
Yeah,
You see the big thing for me was like seeing the Yuuzhan Vong.
yeah,
That was crazy. Like I was like, because it was like they came from outside the galaxy, and I
Yeah.
was like, whoa, wait a
Yeah.
minute, they came from outside the galaxy?
Yeah.
Like what's going on here? And it was like they had like living ships and like terraforming planets,
Stuff
and
like
I wouldn't even like couldn't follow it concisely because
Yeah.
I know you have to like read a bunch and you got to come to the New Jedi Order after like outbound flight and all this stuff. But I was like, it was just so much fun to read about like just like everything.
yeah.
It was so much fun.
I feel like one of the criticisms of the Yuuzhan Vong when it initially came out was that it was too grim and too weird, and they didn't feel like it fit into
I've
the
heard
Star
people
Wars
say
universe.
that too. I've heard like people say it like that.
Yeah, and but that was what drew me in, was because it was so different and so alien in a funny way in the Star Wars universe, but it was so different and so unique to everything else. It instantly was just like, all right,
What's going on here?
this is interesting.
Yeah, because it was like Star Wars always had like this like it never had like a grim dark
Yeah,
40K like scariness to it.
Yeah.
But it was like the Yuuzhan Vong. They came from. I'm not even gonna explain who the Yuuzhan Vong are because everybody probably knows that. But like how they came from the north and like the top of the galaxy came in, and it was like, and they've been there for like thousands of years. Candace Ordo even talks about it,
Yeah.
right? In the book Rogue Planet, I forget who it's by, but they talk about it. Obi-Wan and Anakin meet it when Anakin's a Padawan, and it's just like, oh, this is scary. And they're like the best soldiers too.
yeah,
Like they took over like 70% of the galaxy.
yeah. I feel like it's just in general in science fiction for me. I like more concise stories, but there are some, if they're well-built worlds enough, like Star
Yeah.
Wars, and specifically I'm going to bring up just this, like, I always found that it was very similar to the Yuuzhan Vong with Mass Effect and
The
the
Gift?
Reapers.
Oh, the Reapers. Yeah.
There is something when it's really well done like that, of an existential threat looming like that.
Yeah.
That's because I feel like the looming threat is more engaging to me, just to me personally. I feel like the looming threat of it is more engaging and interesting than actually having a story played out. So like in the first and second Mass Effect a little bit, it's more of a they're coming. Like you find out about them, you don't uncover the mystery, they're coming. And I kind of like it's the same reason why so much horror plays on the anticipation of your brain and how it fills in gaps. And that's what I feel like to me.
There's a guy around the corner coming.
Exactly.
He's outside. Yeah.
So with the Yuuzhan Vong, I love how it's a thing of like they place little hints throughout a lot of plot lines, a lot of the stories where it just kind of hints and teases at it,
Yeah.
and it lets your brain kind of fill in. And something could happen, like they could really.
And they were a threat. And
Yeah,
I haven't started New Jedi Order, neither as Bobby, but like
Yeah.
we're still early on. But we've somehow like we know a lot about
Yeah.
the EU, but we like don't know a lot about it because we haven't really read it. We just sort of know the basics, especially like the Old Republic.
Yeah.
Like we know some good stuff about the Old Republic.
I blame a lot of that on like grade 4, grade 5 wasted computer lab time of just solely reading Wikipedia. Like you're just clicking anything and being like, I don't want to do this weird PowerPoint presentation.
Yeah, I don't want to do Miss Hillaby's stuff.
Yeah, let me just go ahead and read. I don't know. Let me read Luke.
Yeah.
Skywalker.
Let me read about Han Solo's,
Yeah.
weird ship he used to ride
Yeah.
or something. Just something like the the tales. The Adventures of Han Solo were done by A.C. Crispin, but one of the earliest EU sources was The Adventures of Han Solo from like this 1977 or 78 or 79 or maybe 80, and it was just like it was just weird stories. Same as like I know they did the Tales of Lando Calrissian by L. Neil Anderson, I believe, and his stories were just like, what's going on? Like they were like it was like the Star Caves of Thon Boca, the Mind Harp of Sharu, the Flame Wind of Ocean, and it's like they sound like fantasy things
Yeah.
rather than like not complex sci-fi things, but they were like fun psychedelic stories.
I feel like when you take into the context of what Star Wars was at that time frame when it came out, it's take fantasy, like
Yeah,
take pure fantasy.
Joseph Campbell, Hero with a Thousand Faces.
Yeah.
Like drag racing from the 50s.
Yeah.
World War II. Criticizing American American foreign policy. Mix it up with just like Flash Gordon and like all the other things that George loved and all the editors and all the directors love and the bottle workers love, and then you get like that.
But you can distill it, I think. I know a lot of people have said it in commentary of Star Wars as a whole, but you can distill it as it's just a fantasy movie taking place in space where there's a young farm boy who becomes a knight at the behest of an old wizard they go to save the princess. Like all of this is just
they meet the bard, the bard and his beast.
Yeah,
it's not his beast, but it's like his strong accomplice. Yeah, and they take down like the Dark Knight.
Yeah, the Dark Empire, literally the Empire. Like in the context of when it came out, I feel like those probably make a lot more sense when they're writing and trying to distill the energy of the original trilogy into novels. They're taking, well, it was based on fantasy like this, high fantasy, so let's continue that trend. Whereas now it maybe will look a little bit different just because we have the context of all of the who
cares what I feel like? What I feel like is there's nothing to do with what Star Wars is, but early EU, there was probably so much freedom because nobody knew what Star Wars was, right? Like it was like, okay, we know what it is, but it's not this established, maybe for the negative for some things, brand almost now.
Yeah.
Because when people talk about Star Wars now, they're like, oh, Star Wars, LucasArts, it's a brand, it's Disney.
Yeah.
Whether you like that or not, we're not here to discuss whether it's good or bad, but it's like okay, like when they're writing a Star Wars movie, they're like, oh, we have to write a Star Wars movie within these parameters.
Yeah.
It has this, we got to talk about the Force and the Empire and then these guys, and it's like, but if you were like in the 70s, the early 80s, whether you were like George Lucas writing, obviously George Lucas had a vision, but like there was still like this like mysterious wonder when you were writing, right? Because there was no brand.
Yeah,
it was just his mind.
I think I don't know how the writers worked specifically with George, but I'm sure if they passed ideas to him and he gave the okay.
It's like,
and I'm not sure how cognizant he was of filling in. Like, I cannot imagine he had a dedicated, specific vision that the EU is in at this point, or whatever you want to call it, Legends or EU, at how it is at this point. I'm not sure how planned out that was before.
No, because I know in the late 70s, like the people doing Star Wars were like Marvel.
Yeah,
I believe it was Marvel was coming out with Star Wars comics, and these Star Wars comics were just like just once again, like I think Alan Moore did a bunch, and I don't know who else did it, but it was like Alan Moore. Maybe he was the only one. I don't know. I don't really have a lot of background on this, but I just sort of know the topic. But like, some of them are just like they're like 70s science fiction, right? Yeah. So you're getting like Rollerball, Soylent Green.
Yeah.
Just all of these things that just don't make sense. I bet they're coming out of the elements.
Oh no.
Yeah, you're getting like Rollerball, Soylent Green, like Planet of the Apes, not direct, but just like the essence of those movies where it's like strange science fiction. Because I guess like all the science fiction, all those movies at the time weren't like they were either like super polished, like very non-gritty, or these like sort of just like violent dystopian movies that were coming out, right? Because I guess at the time, in the mid 70s, it was like it was movies like Rocky and Taxi Driver and like
THX 103A.
THX 103 by George Lucas.
Yeah.
It's very like physically it's clean.
Yeah.
But it's like nightmare dystopia.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
It almost reminds me of like, I don't know if you read the book by Yevgeny Zamyatin called We. It's like a 1920s or 1910s Soviet dystopian where like everything's made out of glass, so like the state can see. It's like this like panopticon of dystopia where it's like it's one of like the early 20th century's great dystopian novels, like
I got a few.
Lord, another like if like another one is like Lord of the World by Robert Hugh Benson. That's another absolutely phenomenal movie. It's about like the reign of the Antichrist. We're not going to talk about religion, but it's another dystopian one that a lot of people forget about. Robert Hugh Benson, Lord of the World, and We by Yevgeny Zamyatin is like, I think they're better than like 1984 and what's that other, Animal Farm?
Brave New World.
Yeah, they're all good. They're all good, but like there's some throwbacks.
I even think I just got finished reading just a couple weeks ago Mikhail Bulgakov, Master and Margarita. I feel like that fits into because it was written around Soviet time, like the movie. I feel like it touches on
like the early Bolsheviks, not like post Stalin.
This was I can't remember if it was released in the 50s, 60s, but it was definitely written in the 20s, and I think typical kind of that time Soviet kind of bulwarking on literature coming out. A lot of kind of stuff was unpublicized because of it, but I feel like it rattles along the similar themes of like.
I'm gonna get real comfy one sec. Did nothing. Yeah, it's the same sort of like just nightmarish outlook on the state and its ability, and like that's what like a lot of those science fiction movies were, and like that's what the comics are. They're just like strange comics, and like they're fun to read. They go for a lot of money in person because they're all like collectors. But like I think there's episodes where like they go out of the galaxy. They meet I forget what galaxy it is, like the Fire Fist galaxy or like the Andromeda galaxy, and like not the Fire Fist galaxy, and then they like meet these like synthetic robots. It's just so crazy. Like it doesn't feel like it is Star Wars. I'm not gonna make it sound bad, but like
it feels different.
It's just different. It's like the Yuuzhan Vong where you're like oh, I like it, but I'm like
this is such a whiplash from what you.
I want to see Lando Calrissian and Han Solo, doing stuff for the rebels.
Slightly whimsical, like there's not
like this grave.
Yeah.
There's like this, this species out there who terraforms life. And It's like oh, you have the two heroes of the Republic doing stuff. Yeah. Starting, it was like in Thrawn when like you would read about like Lando and he was like doing his mole mining operation. Yeah. It was like classic, like just like fun stuff. And then like I just saw that bug or something flying in them. And then
in my room?
No, I guess it was a moth that tried to go into that or something. Like it just hit it, But you just see like Lando and Han do stuff. Yeah. And it was like, oh, this is fun. Like it just like Timothy Zahn wrote a great book about Lando, Han, Chewie, called Scoundrels, and it came out in 2012 or 2011, and it was like that where they were just like old partners planning a heist, and it was so good. And that's like I think like the funnest thing about Star Wars is just like the joy on the characters, like Luke's my favorite. I know Anakin's your favorite, but like it's just good to see, good to watch, good to read.
I felt like, because I recently watched the Solo standalone movie, and I thought it was enjoyable. Like I had a good time, but I do wish they could have kept more. I don't know. This is maybe just only for me speaking of just something like I wish they kept it less of like there's a huge like I know every story needs a big like something to make you care about it, to make you invested, but I feel like I wish the plot was a little more Han Solo like, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, like the movie, I actually loved the movie. I'm not gonna lie, I really did like the Solo movie. But when they're like, oh, we have to go to Kessel to get the coaxium that you ripped off and you didn't get for me, it was like, okay, I kind of get that, but at the same time, it just became too much of like, oh, he's going to Kessel and then he's going to do the Kessel run, and then it's like, it just would have been better if it was just like Han and even Lando and Chewie and Kira just like doing stuff.
I thought Han and Lando portrayal of them, the actors,
they were good,
so good.
They're phenomenal.
They were so good.
Donald Glover was great.
Yeah.
I forget the Han Solo actor, so I
Yeah.
forget, but I thought he was great too.
They both were
I was
really
like,
compelling.
These are unbelievable.
Yeah.
But I think Donald Glover wanted to do like a Lando movie.
Yeah.
But I think when the movie came out, I think he was like 38 or something, and now he's like 46 or something. So
Mhm.
he's sort of the age Lando was in like Empire Strikes Back.
Yeah. I don't
So-
know. I still feel like if
Like he could do a
he
lot
could
of
100% do it.
like they could
Yeah.
just make a movie about Lando Calrissian. Don't even include any of the originals.
Yeah.
Just make a Lando Calrissian movie, and just make some like fun 2 hour thing up.
Yeah.
Like Lando Calrissian. Okay, this is set during between Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi. It's not Shadows of the Empire. It's after Shadows of the Empire, or whatever. Make it how he's like helping the Republic.
Yeah. Anything, right?
Like, and you can introduce a whole new bunch of characters. You can even bring some EU characters in there.
Yeah.
Like, you can just have a good time without making a movie that's constantly. I don't want to speak bad about it, but like, when it's always about Jedi, when it's always about Skywalker family, when it's
Yeah.
always about the Empire versus like, and I understand there's going to be like archetypes, right? Like, I understand it's going to be like the good and the bad, the dark side of life. Like I'm not against that, but when it's always like, oh, this is the Jedi, this is, you know, it's like, dude, you have a whole galaxy.
Yeah.
You can write about you can make 20 Lando Calrissian movies and it would never get old.
Yeah.
You know, you have these, like, you just have so much to do and so much material to work with. And you can like dig up random EU stuff, make it, and it would be great, right?
Yeah.
Like you could make a movie about like anything from the EU. Doesn't even need to take place during the Skywalker family. It could be like years after, or like 200 years before, like the Acolyte, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And like a lot of these writers, I'm not trying to I don't want to like dig on, but it's like, man, like.
I don't think it's constricted by writers. I feel like it's mostly constricted by
I think it's like
executives.
I think it's executives, and I think it's like a brand.
Yeah.
Like
They're trying to.
what we said before, it's like, all right, we're gonna punch in Star Wars. What's in Star Wars? Oh, it's this time,
Yeah.
and we're gonna make that. And like when they write it, I feel like they don't write like a story. I've never wrote a TV script or movie script,
Yeah.
so like maybe I'm wrong about everything. But I feel like when they design it, it's not about like a narrative a lot. It's like, how can we have this one character be, and like they write the whole narrative around the one character rather than writing a good story.
Yeah.
So like, oh, the story has to be around this one character, and he's our guy in this movie. We're gonna sell a lot of toys, rather than just let the writing come naturally and play out. And that was something like I found in what's the last one? The Last Skywalker? The Last Jedi?
Rise of Skywalker.
The Rise of Skywalker.
Yeah.
I felt like that. I was like watching. I'm like, man. And like I'm not trying to like. We're not going to be like talking. I know we're talking about Disney a lot. Like,
Yeah.
and I don't want to talk about the state of Disney or complain, because I do want to talk more about the EU. But it was like, dude, you have Kylo Ren, who's just a crazy good character.
Yeah.
Kylo Ren is like one of the best written characters for Star Wars after Disney. Maybe the best written.
I think clearly from the way everybody gravitated towards him, I think everybody really liked
They love Kylo Ren. People like even people who hate Disney Star Wars, which I'm not one of them. I don't know. I don't think you're one of them. But people are like, man, Kylo Ren's cool.
Yeah.
Kylo Ren could have like just been. Yeah, but like he was just kind of wasted. A lot of those characters were just like they had a lot of good characters.
So many good characters, so many good portrayals. I find,
And
they
like-
could have, like, if they, again, I feel like I don't like to harp on it too much. I just think the crux of the issue is just they being executives and kind of decision makers at a multinational conglomerate like Disney had a certain amount of control over creativity, and that hampered the end results. And
I
that's
totally feel.
Yeah.
Like that's why a lot of their all we're doing is talking about Disney.
Yeah.
Like, I guess obviously when it comes to Star Wars you're going to, but like those Disney theme parks, those Star Wars hotels.
Yeah.
Man, those could have been sick.
They could have been cool.
But they're like first of all they're too expensive.
Yeah.
Like
I think everything. Yeah.
I know everything's expensive, but like you cannot. What was the price? $3,000 or something?
I'm pretty sure it was higher. I want to say
I'm gonna say it's a couple thousand. You can't charge a couple thousand for like a Star Wars hotel room.
Yeah.
Like you just can't. You just can't. Like even the most diehard fans will not spend 5% of their yearly income on it. Maybe it's not even 5. Maybe for some people it's like 8 or 10.
Well, especially because I don't know how much they're trying to garner like the children interest.
Oh, none. I don't think there's a lot of children interest. It's more in aging millennials.
I feel like they're pivoting. A lot of companies are doing this. A lot of I want to say nostalgic brands and nostalgic kind of things are. Oh, that's our time up. They're Empire's coming. I think a lot of just nostalgic brands like that, like the Lego brand, like I think we talked about specifically the Pokemon brand, Star Wars brand. All of these brands are realizing that
there's money in grown-ups rather than children.
Well, I think they see it more as short-term ROI, return on investment, as opposed to playing it. I don't even want to say playing it safe. It's not very. It can be detrimental. It can kill your brand if you focus on a certain niche group without patenting your bottom line. Because Lego went through that. Like they had dwindling sales because there's a whole bunch of different theories and marketing essays that were written on it, but they had dwindling sales for years, and they had to. I think it was Bionicle that reinvented the brand, but it was marketed to children.
Yeah.
Specifically, not. I don't want to say children. Lego is typically like a very young children.
Bionicle was not little.
Bionicle was marketed to a little bit of an older generation with a little bit more of an edge to it. A lot less so than Lego. Like Lego sets you by. I don't know. I remember getting like the World Cup 2000 Lego set.
Nice.
Great, but very milquetoast. Not milquetoast. That sounds like a bad terminology for it.
Yeah, it was
safe.
just an inoffensive, fun,
very inoffensive,
safe
very safe. Everyone could get it, and if everyone can get it, maybe it doesn't appeal to a specific niche to draw in their interest.
Bionicle
What happens when they put out Bionicle that had that right edge to it, that drew in certain crowd, the demographic that I happen to be in, the young boy demographic, they raked in money and would save their brand.
Yeah.
Now they probably are taking. I mean, I make all these generalizations, but I think they are pivoting and seeing that there's a huge amount of people who are aging, and typically you might say people age out of certain interests, age out of Star Wars, age out of Lego, but a lot of them are sticking with that brand, whether for nostalgic purposes of trying to recover or recreate or
just
capture
or just
childhood memories
or
and
just
kind of
enjoyment.
enjoyment.
They just
raw
continue.
enjoyment.
Like that's.
But those people have money, and
I
think that's what they're appealing to.
Like that's like Star Wars. I don't think I'm trying to. I don't like it because I want to be a kid again. I just like it because it's great.
It's a genuine enjoyment.
It's phenomenal.
Yeah.
Like the stories, the characters, like just the video games. Even though I don't play video games a lot, but it's just a fun thing to do. It's like a very fun, relaxing thing reading about because like it's always going to be like good wins.
Yeah.
It's always nice to see that good wins. It's always nice to see like Luke Skywalker's having a good time winning, and it was always fun to see that.
I feel like my long-winded way of going on that rant was basically to say that the way they're pivoting Star Wars now is I was a fan of Star Wars when it was still made for a certain demographic of just maybe not demographic. I don't specifically know exactly what I was saying.
Star Wars was always for kids though,
which
is a good thing.
That's how it should be, and that's what I'm saying is that I think they're pivoting to more of a. I know it's maybe a bit of a pejorative, like a Disney adult. I think they're pivoting.
I can understand where you're coming from.
They're pivoting towards more of an not older audience, but just safer audience that
safer, locked-in audience that is like
that has income, that has expendable income that will purchase it because they're loyal to the brand at that point.
Yeah.
And I think as a short-term strategy, I mean, I gotta say it's genius because
I mean you gotta make money.
It works, and it works really well.
Yeah.
But the issue with that is if they don't, I don't see a good outlook in the future for it if they don't have an appeal to children at the same time. Because at a certain point, your older generation can only go for so long. Like, you have to introduce new fans, younger fans to it to keep it going. And if you don't do that and they find other interests,
or they're still interested and they go, you know what, like I just like the old stuff.
it could be that.
Like
yeah.
you know, eventually they're gonna be like, you know what, I'm 50. Like, hey, I love Star Wars.
Yeah.
I'll always love it, but like, I don't know. I don't care about the new stuff.
That's a lot of times. Yeah,
You know, they're
that
just like,
happens.
hey, like,
But I think that's why they're trying to keep it as, we're going to keep everything sort of familiar and sort of safe.
yeah.
Whereas as that aging group kind of stays in that niche, they aren't able to get a younger or a refresh of it. So what I'm saying is, short-term wise, it kills. It makes so much money and it rates and everything. But long-term wise, it's not a good outlook because it doesn't
have a new generation. It doesn't have a new culture that comes in.
Like, think of how original trilogy came out. Think of then how the expanded universe built upon that. Where
And then the prequels came in.
Yeah.
And there was like 2, 3. I mean, even like there could have been a 4 gen. I mean, there could have been people born in the 40s that saw Star Wars in their late 30s.
Yeah.
Who were just like, because I mean, it was just something so new.
Yeah.
So they could have been like, oh, I love this. And then by the time the prequels come out, they're in their 50s or 60s, and they still love it.
Yeah.
And like, it's just and like with the video games too, you had the Old Republic come out.
Yeah.
Old Republic is probably the Old Republic. The 2 Old Republic games are probably the 2 best Star Wars video games ever made.
Yeah.
I think that's probably true.
People who aren't even Star Wars fans love those games.
Those games are some of the best games ever made. Period.
I would say they did. I found it almost hard to say this, but I feel like they did such an important job in kind of fostering my interest in Star Wars. Because again, I say that, but it's like the original trilogy hooked me in from the beginning. I was cursed into Star Wars the minute I saw the original trilogy.
Yeah.
The minute I saw A New Hope crawl come up on the screen, game over for me. But I also want to say, to stay active within the interest and for it to keep in my head and to impact me in all sorts of ways. Knights of the Old Republic, Star Wars Lego was huge. Star Wars
Lego,
everything. There was so much to draw me in as a child, where it's like I'm not just stuck on original trilogy. Like, it's all the new stuff that's coming out, but that's also paying respects to the original trilogy, to what came before. I think there's a good, healthy way to do both, where you're appealing to your core demographic and introducing new fans to it, so it continues and stays.
Yeah.
I'm also talking like all of this stuff is extremely new to the world.
Yeah.
Like Marshall McLuhan talked about how it's only been since like the advent of the eye as a way for media to come through. Because every other culture, prior to it, everybody was separated into like ear culture.
Yeah.
Stories were told through
Orally, oral
where you would keep
transmission.
through your ear.
Or even still writing stuff is still like you're still talking.
Yeah. And now everything is done through pretty much the eye. So your intake is through your eye. So
Right.
an eye-based culture. And specifically the media concept of it has only been around since, the 1930s, I want to say, is when it
For the eye.
yeah. I mean, since the Gutenberg press, that's kind of what the main point of I feel like the book is getting to.
Yeah.
Obviously, since that came out, that's how transmitting of words happened. But specifically with this culture of, everything is, I don't know how to specifically say it, but you know what I mean when it's like there isn't a precedent you can look for 100 years ago for, this brand that survived and made it through the internet age and all sorts of different multimedia generations.
Yeah.
I just feel like it's unprecedented that we're seeing, so it's hard for me to say kind of anything about the future. But I feel like the consensus on short-term short-term return on investment is hard to build a long-lasting cultivation of interest for it.
Yeah, I totally see that. But I don't know. You really don't know. Like, maybe Star Wars will recover, and I hope it does. I hope people like want Disney to fail, but like, so Disney fails.
Yeah.
Okay, then what happens to Star Wars? You know what I'm saying? Like, you shouldn't. I understand if you're critical. I don't like talking about them all, but like, you should hope for the best. You should hope hey, maybe they have a change of mind. Maybe they hire us. Maybe they hire a lot of people in our sort of corner of the internet, and we make great movies for 40 more years.
Like, if they hired me, I don't know if I could do a better job than the people they have running it. But
Maybe not writing movies, but
yeah,
you could lay an outline out, be like, hey, we're not doing this, we're doing
Yeah.
this, and then they change, right? And I think like a lot of the times you have to hope and like sincerely think like. I think like Kathleen Kennedy's not some like monster.
yeah,
She's doing it for money.
yeah.
She's doing it because like she just knows how to do it, and she worked on the original movies too.
Yeah,
Like, she's been around.
She
Like,
was handpicked by George. I'm
yeah,
pretty sure.
like she's not some like she wasn't just thrown a random
Yeah.
thing. Like she was and George sold it to Bob Iger because Bob Iger funded his young Indiana Jones television show in the early '90s. So it's not like these people are just like trying malicious. They just want to make money. Which you know what
I think there's a certain, I don't remember the concept, but there's a certain fandom, there's a certain way people love a certain thing where they would rather see it die than see it even slightly twisted from their perfect image of it.
Yes.
Like, if I have a perfect image of the prequels, which I don't, but if I did, where it's nobody can talk about them, nobody can do this, and say this was 2008 and I love the prequels and I love them more than anything, and then the Clone Wars comes out and it all of a sudden gives Anakin an apprentice. That, like, to me at the time, I remember not really liking it too much. I enjoy it now. I'm cool
It's
with it.
it's
But
fine. It's lighthearted. Whatever.
at that time, imagine if that was like an abject heresy almost, where at that point you're saying, I hate the idea of the show. I hope the show fails because I want to keep my pristine image
I want to keep that
of
image.
my Star Wars,
Yeah.
of my XYZ, whatever brand or media or anything, whatever concept that you like. You would rather see it burned and dead and to go with it, essentially. You'd rather see it dead of love than to see anything twisted, which I get it. It comes from a place of appreciation.
But you got to realize it's got to change.
It does, yeah.
But it can always change for the better too,
Yes.
right? Like criticisms are valid when it's bad,
Yeah.
but when it's still good, like it's still good, right?
Yeah.
Like that was like the prequels. People were like, I hate this, and like the prequels are objectively amazing,
Yeah.
but they didn't. I mean, they didn't change anything. They were just completely new. They were just completely new, first of all. But like a lot of people who didn't like them had that idea of the perfect originals.
Yeah.
That's it.
And they were expecting more of the originals.
You're not gonna happen, but
Yeah.
but that was it, and that was like the Thrawn trilogy too. Like the Thrawn trilogy completely boosted Star Wars again in the early '90s, right? Because of how good it was.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think that's just something. I think we should maybe end on that. End on this note.
Yeah.
Because now we started with the EU, I think, at the beginning of the video, and now we're sort of going into the EU. Maybe next week or whenever we release the official first one, we can go into. We'll start with the EU. Hopefully, we'll be finished Thrawn by then,
Yeah.
and we can do like a little review. We can talk about it. I think that'd be a good thing.
Yeah. I'm on the third book. I'm halfway in through the third book, so I'm still working through it.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm right where Luke and the gang are on Wayland, trying to get George Sabaoth. I don't even know how to say his name. George Sabaoth. Timothy Zahn said if he could write that again, he would give him a much simpler name.
Like Don Cataway.
yeah. John Saxon. But it was a fun thing. So I got like 80 pages left, or 100. So
I mean, considering I'm more than 3/4 of the way through the entire trilogy, it's good.
yeah.
Like my review with a simple 2 words, it's really good.
Yeah,
That's 3
but-
words, but you get it. 4 words if you count a contraction as a word. It's really good.
We'll get on it. I mean, in next episode, I guess. Next episode. So
Absolutely.
thanks for watching.